going to have to learn these skills, whether you agree with me or not. I mean, you might not like, you might be unsubscribing right now to my channel because you think this is not relevant to you. Trust me, man, I've taken care of fucking thousands of patients. This is very relevant. This is what's missing in weight loss surgery. And yes, I just said fucking. And if you don't like that, then this channel's not for you too. Trust me. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Duc Vuong. I'm a bariatric surgeon, and today on this video I want to show you the easiest method to starting a garden. It's a technique called lasagna gardening. No, you're not gonna grow trays of lasagna. I know you wish we were growing trays of lasagna, that'd be amazing. And no, you're not growing like tomatoes and all the stuff to go in a lasagna. It's actually a gardening technique. You might also see it as a no-dig method, no-till method, but I'm telling you, this is the easiest way to start a garden, the best, most organic way, and it will have the most production of any other technique I've tried, okay? And you can do it anywhere, in any climate. So even if you're up north and you have a short growing season, this lasagna gardening method will work for you. Even if you live in a high desert, like I used to live in Albuquerque, that's high desert, lasagna gardening is great. Right now I'm in Houston, so you'll see behind me this patch of grass, and this will be turned into a garden, okay? So right here is my current lasagna gardening bed, and this is all grown through lasagna gardening technique. So you see my squash plants and everything. I transformed that from a flower bed. So this strip of grass behind me is probably 10 feet wide. And what I think I'm gonna do is turn it into 3 sections, and there'll be like a walking path. And right where that yellow bucket is, you see that yellow bucket right there? I'm gonna put eventually a little small black wrought iron table and 2 chairs. And that's where me and my lovely will sit outside and enjoy a glass of sangria or wine or something. So that's the idea. And we'll have gardens down the side here where this sidewalk is. There will be another garden bed over there. And the garden bed that we're building today is, you see outlined by my garden hose. So what will you need to do this? You will need a lot of cardboard and some green clippings. Now, lasagna gardening, a lot of people are like, what is lasagna gardening, Dr. Vuong? Lasagna gardening is a slow composting method. Slow composting method, that's number 1. So you're gonna build layers of browns and greens. And there's no tilling, no digging up, nothing, okay? So brown is your carbon source, and greens are your nitrogen source, okay? So what are your browns? Your browns are things like cardboard. So right here, I've got a bunch of cardboard ready to go. And then it can be cardboard, it can be shredded newspaper, it could be newspaper, if you have a home office or you have paper shreddings, that works. Newspapers, dry leaves are probably the best. So I've got some dry leaves over here I'm gonna use in addition to my cardboard. And then the green is your nitrogen source. Plants need nitrogen. So what are your greens? Greens can be grass clippings, leaf trimmings. So I've got some grass trimmings. I also have some leaf trimmings here from bushes that I'm gonna dig up. You can also use kitchen scraps. So if you have green, like, we all have like boxes of salads that are going bad, your vegetable peels when you're peeling vegetables, your vegetables that are going bad, onions, all that sort of stuff. So those would be considered greens. No meat products, no butter, no oil products. You can put in eggshells. You can put in, actually, believe it or not, you can put in like shrimp shells, peelings of shrimp shells. Once your lasagna garden gets more mature, you can bury a dead fish or fish heads or stuff like that, but no meat, no fat products. You can use coffee grinds. Coffee grinds in your coffee filter would be a brown. Be careful with coffee grinds because that can be a little bit acidic. Anything green like leafy vegetable material is a green layer, okay? Now, quickly about grass clippings. If you leave grass clippings out long enough, guess what? They turn brown. So then they become a brown layer. So that could be hay, would be fine. But most of the time, people have access to like leaves and things like that. So that's why it's super cool. So I'm in Houston. And you just lay it straight down on this green grass. If you were in Albuquerque, like where I was in the high desert, and let's say, Dr. Vuong, I only have like a bunch of dust and weeds, all you're gonna do is lay your cardboard down straight onto the ground. Okay. First thing, no digging method. So we're gonna lay this cardboard directly right on top of the grass. You don't want to dig it up. Remember, you're all saying browns, greens, right? So if you have grass, that's a green. Now we're going to layer the brown cardboard. So any cardboard will do. I'm not going to build a whole bed for you today. I'm just going to demonstrate a small part of it. I think I want it as wide. And yeah, that'll be good. These are moving boxes. I'm going to eventually build all this out. So this is getting a little bit wider than I want, but that's all right. I'll use it on my bed. All right, so you get the idea. And you can overlap them. That would be fine to overlap. That looks nice. Okay. So this is going to be my pathway. It's kind of laying out my garden bed. The garden hose is kind of an example of an area. Let me see, I think I want to overlap. The second step is that you've got to wet it down. Between every layer, you've got to wet it down. So I've got my garden hose here. I know this is interesting, right? So between each layer, you want to water it down. Now don't be stingy with your water. This is going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to weigh down the cardboard so that it stays in place for you. But more importantly, that moisture starts the steaming process. Remember, this is like slow composting, so you want it to start steaming. It's kind of nice in Houston because it's pretty moist here. I said that word. Some people don't like that word, huh? Moist. Comment if you don't like the word moist. You want to build your lasagna garden bed up to 12 to 16 inches. I would say 12 inches high, that's a foot minimum. So it's going to be real high. And what will happen is over time, and by over time, I mean over like 2 or 3 weeks, you'll start to notice that it's going to shrink down. It'll go from like 12 inches, it will shrink down because it's all starting to break down. Now, the easiest way for me with being here in Houston to get greens is grass clippings. So I stole my neighbor's grass clippings, and they have them out on the curb. And the cool thing about grass clippings is you can feel you can feel the grass clippings. They're already warm inside the bag because they're starting to already give off that heat. You know, it's really super cool. Oh, you want a ratio of about usually most people say about 30 to 40% greens and 60 to 70% browns. So you need more browns than greens. All right, so I'm just gonna take this, seriously, just spread out a nice thin layer.
And it's just basically an estimate. You know what, I'm gonna get closer here because, oh, trash. Because otherwise I'm not gonna have enough green clippings. Totally, I'm gonna have to get a few more green clippings. Alright, nice. For this demonstration purposes, I think I'm going
listen, you want to get your hands dirty. You want to get your hands on this. Whew, that grass is hot. Pretty crazy. That grass out of the bag is hot. All right. So, y'all see that? So it's not a very thick layer of green, but it's gonna be about 30%. This will decompose. And yes, one more time, gotta water it down.
Water it down, y'all. As I get more greens and browns, I'll add to my bed. And you don't have to cover up with the cardboard, it's an approximation of your bed. And you can do nicer things. You can add like stone pathways and borders, edges. Right?
Don't be discouraged if you don't like how this looks right now. It looks like a freaking mess. But trust me, once you get it all nice and laid out, you can put stone borders along the walkways. The path will become very apparent. You can make it look as sculptured as you like it, or you can keep it as wild as you like it. Okay, so we got our green. Now what? We're gonna do another brown. So for this layer, I've got leaves. So this used to be the same thing, was a bag of raked mowed grass and leaves, and all the green is out of it. Yeah, baby. Now you see how this layer I'm adding on is much thicker than the green layer, because it's a 70 to 30 ratio. Oh hell.
Cover up that cardboard, y'all.
This is what's called the Asian squat. The Vietnamese squat. If you have any Vietnamese friends, it's a lot of white people can't do the squat. It's funny. When I was growing up, we used to joke about it. Because most white people, or non-Asians I should say, you know, like they can't sit with, they'll sit with their heels up like this, and the Asian squat is your heels are flat. Like that. What's next? Water. Now I know I want to build this lasagna garden all the way to where you see that orange bucket in the background. I just don't have enough gathered materials yet. But I don't panic, because I can build this as I go. Because I know it's a weekend, so my neighbor is going to be mowing later today, and I'll come back. I'll update the video, show you pictures. Yeah, I'll show you the Mel's mix here in a second. Now, you think I'm watering a lot, but I'm really not, because the substrate, it really heats it up.
I'll edit this down, put it on YouTube, fast forward through all the different spots. So, hopefully I can get it down to like a 2 minute, like a 10-minute YouTube video.
All right. Okay, what's next? More greens. See the green grass? See that? Spread that green. And it's okay if it's got some leaves in there. That's fine. You're just gonna build this up.
So nice, you know, like my neighbors just had these grass clippings on the curb for the Houston department to pick up. I was on a jog yesterday. I just grabbed it. Now sometimes when you do this, you might get acorns, you might get a few weeds, but it's very minimal. And it's okay, because you can just pluck it off.
This is already this tall. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is already 8-9 inches. A few more layers will be ready. Now obviously I'm going to have to go hunting for a little bit more dry leaves later, and then I'll build out the edges. Okay. Woo! This grass is nice and warm. So funky. Alright, I'm going to have 2 more layers. Okay. Isn't that cool? You guys can already start to see the garden bed, huh? Can you see that? Hi, Mason. My daughter's here. Here's a stick, and you can already see that? Here's my hand. So here's my hand. So the lasagna bed is already as tall as this stick. Okay. So, more water. In the world of obesity, weight loss surgery, it's super important. We need to start talking more about where our food comes from. Stop depending on things like protein shakes to get our nutrition, especially during these new times with coronavirus and everything. And you can see this is a skill set that is way up there. It's so important to know where your food comes from. Otherwise, you guys are gonna always be looking for another weight loss surgery or another quick fix or another tip. I mean, I'm just here to tell you, man, no one's coming to rescue you. No one's coming. There is no shortcut. No one can do push-ups for you. You're going to have to learn these skills, whether you agree with me or not. I mean, you might not like, you might be unsubscribing right now to my channel because you think this is not relevant to you. Trust me, man, I've taken care of fucking thousands of patients. This is very relevant. This is what's missing in weight loss surgery. And yes, I just said fucking. And if you don't like that, then this channel's not for you too. Trust me. Dr. Vuong, why do you need to say, why do you have such a potty mouth? Well, how's not cussing gotten you? How's your doctor not cussing gotten through to you? You're the one dealing with weight weaving. You're the one worried that you stretched out your pouch. You're the one who's unmotivated. How has not cussing gotten through to you? It's not for everybody, that's fine. You don't like it? Go fucking watch Joel Osteen. Go watch Dr. Gundry. Go watch somebody else, I don't care. But they're not gonna show you how to lasagna garden. All right. Dr. Vuong, don't worry about those fuckers. Take care of the people who are your tribe, Dr. Vuong. I know. All right, next. Another old bag. Like I said, if you leave grass out long enough, it turns into a brown. So here's another bag of grass. Now, I will tell you that you want your last layer to be brown. I think I might make this my last layer for now. I'm running low on brown.
What can brown do for you?
I'm out of browns. So I will go get more browns later. But you have the idea, right? So now, let's imagine that this is, a good 12 to 16 inches. All right? Now, let me lower this for you. And you can plant in this right now. I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? You can plant in this right now. You don't have to wait. Now, if you're in a climate that has a pretty cold winter, you can build these at the end of your summer and let it sit there, and it'll be ready to go next spring. If you're like me, I'm in Houston, I can plant this all year round. But the mistake some people make after this is they try to plant right into this, and you don't want to do that. You want to do something called Mel's Mix. My coffee has bugs in it. Yeah, the joys of gardening. Mel's Mix is hands down the best potting soil you will ever get, and it's named after its inventor, Mel somebody, maybe Mel Bartholomew, maybe. I might be making that up, but it's basically 1/3 perlite or vermiculite. 1/3 perlite or vermiculite. It's the white stuff that you see when you're buying potted plants. It's equal parts perlite, compost. I like to get mushroom compost, but all they had was cow manure and compost, which is also fantastic. It's also great. And then 1/3 peat moss. So 1/3 peat moss. What I do is I mix it in a tub. Come with me. So right here, I already have my perlite and my peat moss in there. So I'm just gonna add my manure. So for those of you who don't know, peat moss is kind of like this brown stuff. Okay. I'm gonna add most of this compost. The best compost is if you made it yourself. or if you had it in your home, but I don't have enough of a compost going. So this is an okay compost. It's nice and black, but you can see it's not broken down very well. It's still pretty twiggy. You see that? So it's okay compost. And remember, the reason why you want compost is because there's a lot of beneficial bacteria and fungi in compost. But the longer it stays in these manufactured bags, all those beneficial bacteria and stuff start to die off. So I don't like that as much. So you want to, if you can, get your own compost. Now, if you have enough room in your yard or area, what I would do is just start mounding up your greens and browns into like a mound. And a lot of old-timer country farmer guys and gals know this trick, and that's where you get the big-ass earthworms and then night crawlers that used to scare the shit out of you when you were a little kid and you go visit grandma and grandpa in the country. It's because they know if you water the leaves, you pile up the leaves and the grass clippings and the shrubs, and you just water it, then you'll get the earthworms. Okay, so this is it. This is the maize mix. You can see that it's got the perlite, the peat moss, and the compost in there, and it's super rich and nutritious, and your plants are going to love it. I'm going to plant these mammoth 12 foot tall, 10 to 12 foot tall, 12-inch diameter sunflowers, mammoth sunflowers, along this bed right here. And so the idea is that it's going to kind of give a little bit of mystery to my yard, where people walking around, they're going to see these huge mammoth sunflowers along here, and they can kind of get a hint of maybe two people sitting over there, and they're going to be like, is there people sitting there? And then they're going to peek around the corner, and they're going to see red tomatoes. You see my red tomatoes and stuff? It's going to be really cool. So what you don't want to plant straight into this. You're going to open up, just go through the layers like this. Okay. Yeah. Now, you're going to plant this in here, but what will happen is when the roots of your plant start to break out, it'll hit this compost material, the greens and the browns, and it'll be it'll be in heaven. It'll be so nutritious. It'll be so happy. But first, you got to put the maize mix in to give it a little time to break down. So there are lasagna gardening videos out there that tell people to plant right away. Don't do that. Put in your maize mix first, okay? And plant this pretty high. You see how this is like high? Because why? This is gonna shrink down. And as this plant grows, you're going to continually put more lasagna gardening around it. Yes, baby?
I'm gonna get some more grass for you.
You're gonna get more grass for me? That's awesome. All right, now you're gonna backfill this in. I gotta plant that other one. This one I thought was gonna die because he was starting to fall, wilt the other day. Okay, we're gonna backfill this with more compost. Well, I'm sorry, with more maize mix. All right, put this bad boy in there. Cover him up. Hopefully he'll make it. He might not. That's fine. You're gonna lose a few. Gardening is not perfect. You're gonna lose a few. It's like bariatric surgery. Not everybody has amazing results. You'll lose a few. Not everybody loves Dr. V. I'm gonna lose a few. That's all right. It's all right. Plenty more. We got the obnoxious tribe. That's it. Okay. Now, you want to give this a really good watering. You really want a gentle watering, but you want to really soak it down in there. Give it a nice drink. Okay. So let's pretend. Watch, you guys come back, you'll see this lasagna bed will be like shrunk down by half.
Dad?
Yes, baby? Why do I give the plants a drink? Because it's healthy. It's healthy for them. It's good for them.
And then they grow.
And then they grow. That's right, baby. See how absorbent this lasagna bed is? Super saturated. Okay, so
We have flowers.
now what you want to do is
Dad, we have lots of plants.
grab some more of your browns and spread it around the feet of your newly planted little baby here.
Dad,
And what that does is it adds a layer of protection, a mulch.
Dad,
Yes, baby. Hold on. What, baby?
we have lots of plants.
We do have lots of plants, huh, baby? Do you like to garden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you pick strawberries yesterday out of the garden?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Yeah.
All right, guys, so I covered the mulch, I covered the plant up in a last layer of brown, okay? So what you don't want to see is you want your garden, lasagna garden, to be mostly a brown layer. You see that? You see some Mel's mix around the base, but for the most part, it's the bed itself. Here you go, here's a good example. The bed itself is brown. Now, the other thing is as your plants grow, what you do is you just keep adding greens and browns, greens and browns, greens and browns. As the compost goes down, the lasagna garden goes down, you add greens and browns, and as your plants grow up, you add greens and brown. I hope that made sense. So, what you'll get is great looking. This is all organic tomatoes, volunteer tomatoes, squashes. I got peppers, eggplants here, and it's only May. It's only May here in Houston. We're already producing. So hopefully that's been a good starter video for you for the lasagna garden. Hope you liked it. Come here, Mason.
I'm gonna get my pants dirty.
You're gonna get my pants dirty.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
my feet. Ow!
Do you like to garden? Say goodbye. Say goodbye, baby. All right, go start your garden, guys. See you next time. Bye.